Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yellow.
And welcome back to another episode of the Bearded Brothers Podcast.
True crime is in session today.
Oh yeah, we got all kind of nasties for you guys.
Yeah, so you better watch.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right,
So,
so Robert, you got some stuff pulled up. Said we all got some stuff pulled up. I'm pretty sure, but
oh yeah.
I know Brian does. Squirrel does.
Oh yeah.
Logan.
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 Okay, so my first one I got is this woman named Peggy Andrews. And this is a quote from the publisher. It says, this mystery is actually the second oldest cold case file in the city, dating back all the way to the early fall of 1962.
Jesus.
Yeah, just a little bit. So I'm going to read you the little short synopsis of this Peggy Andrews. All right, so Gary Andko, he's a Columbus Business University student. He has been busy all day moving into his new apartment when he discovered her. Mary Margaret Andrews, or better known as Peggy, lay lifeless in the alleyway. She had been shot 3 times and assaulted. The contents of her purse lay scattered around her, including her open red billfold, her small black bow still pinned in her curly brown locks.
Wow.
Peggy's also a college student and a devout Catholic. Was last seen alive by a fellow classmate named Ron after dropping her off at her boarding house a little after 9 p.m. Ron submitted to both a polygraph test as well as Gary, the guy who found her. They both passed, and nobody was convicted of her murder. But interestingly enough, nearly 60 years later, the case was re-examined, and the evidence, including the DNA of the suspect, remained intact. Police were able to cross-reference it with registered criminals, but no avail. We've come very close to solving Peggy's death over many years, just not quite close enough. So basically, over 60 years and still nothing.
Jesus.
That one was like, I don't know.
And where was that? Where was that one at?
This one actually didn't say. I'm gonna assume it's in Columbus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything from this article. Everything we're going to be reading from this article is going to be all from Columbus.
All right. Well, I got
or
one
the Columbus area.
I got one from Erie County. So, and I don't know where this place is, so you guys can look it up if you want. It happened at the Huron River Valley Campground.
That's where I think we go
I've been
camping
there.
at, ain't it?
Is that where? Yeah, that's where we go camping, isn't it?
Yep.
It is. Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
back in June of 1982, a worker there found a newborn infant dead in a porta potty. And
Dang, that's crazy.
yeah, and they know no one else. Like there was people there that said they seen. Well, they did an autopsy. Like obviously because they did an autopsy and they found the baby was alive. Then it died. So it was obviously living. It wasn't dead. Then someone put her there. It was living, and then she just died in there. Yeah. So they have no idea like who the mom is, and it's been since then. I know a lot. I guess a lot of people that were there said that they did see a pregnant lady there, but they have no idea like where she went. Other than she wasn't there when they were leaving, and then they found that. So now they're opening the case back up, trying to at least find out more information so they can at least get the baby's name and give it a headstone and all that. But yeah, that's
Right.
1982, and look how close that is to us. That happened.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, take me for example. I'm from an area where one kidnapper had held 3 girls captive for a long time. And then on the other side of town, there is the likes of Anthony Sowell, and then there's one that everybody knows about, and this one's kind of a weird one. It's the Mad Butcher at Kingsbury Run, or the Cleveland Torso Murders.
See, I haven't heard of that one.
Okay, so this is going back to the 1930s. The killings were actually characterized by dismemberment of 12 known victims and the disposal of their remains over on Kingsbury Run. Now that's over on the east side of Cleveland.
Yeah, I know where that
down,
is.
Yeah, down toward Kinsman and all that.
Yep.
And most of the victims actually came from that area, or like back in the Great Depression, they had like little shanty towns in that area. The investigation was actually led by Elliot Ness, believe it or not, and they never did catch the killer. Now there is a theory out there that the Black Dahlia murder in California is actually the same killer.
Dang.
That is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 12 victims known between 1935 and 1938.
Jesus.
And
yeah, see, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. The murderer always beheaded and often would dismember the victims, occasionally severing the arms, occasionally severing the victim's torso in half, actually, and removing the arms.
Dang.
If he or she, because they never caught the murderer, if he or she killed a man, they were castrated. I mean, a lot of the victims were actually found after a considerable period of time, occasionally almost a year later. I mean, back then, you didn't have forensic science, so a lot of them they weren't even able to identify.
Yeah, man, that's...
Yeah, see, that's... I could never do something like that. Like, that's... Man, I couldn't do it. I couldn't kill someone. I mean, I could if I absolutely had to, but...
Yeah, if they're, like, breaking your house or something.
Right. Not just for the fun of it. Like, I couldn't do that.
No.
Yeah.
All right, well...
Brian, wasn't you saying something, Brian, about something in Africa or something like that?
Oh, yeah, that nightclub in South Africa. Like 20 people just found dead inside of a nightclub with no signs of strangle or anything.
I wonder if they like took something. You know what I'm saying? Like something got passed around.
They might have.
Well, that happened in the cult too, wasn't it? Mike Jones' cult or something like that.
That huge freaking cult. Yeah, where all them people died.
Yeah, they drank that
the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, they drank something and
that is just crazy though.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything, but there's this guy, he's a Lorain, Ohio native, and he did crimes like all across America, and he confessed to murdering 93 people, all women.
I remember that. I remember you talking about.
What was his name?
Samuel Little.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I remember that. Yep. Now, wasn't he like really old when he finally admitted to doing that?
Yeah,
I think he was.
Like he got put in prison already, and then he finally admitted to killing like all these freaking people.
Well, he was born in 1940, and he was convicted in 2014.
Right. So he was already freaking.
Yeah, he was pretty old.
Well, believe it or not, there's another guy. He's from Ohio, but the killing happened in Kentucky. His name's Donald Harvey. He's from Butler County, and this was from 1970 to 1987. And so, basically, Harvey belonged to a group of killers known as the Angels of Mercy, who claimed to kill for the benefit of the victim. Harvey was convicted of 37 of his more than 57 suspected murders. He has confessed to as many as 87. Harvey used different methods to kill his victims: suffocation with a pillow, turning off an oxygen tank, and a variety of drug overdoses.
Damn.
He once stuck a coat hanger in a patient's catheter, and then the man died. The man died days later from an infection.
You could have stopped right there.
Wow.
Hey,
wow.
But
it's Dr. Kevorkian before there was a Dr. Kevorkian. Jesus.
Yeah, dude.
Well, He was
That's
hired
crazy.
at the Cincinnati VA Medical Hospital, and he managed to collect over 30 pounds of cyanide, and he kept it in his house, and he also kept
Wow.
diaries and detailed notes on each of his victims, including how he murdered them.
Holy
Jesus.
hell!
Mm.
Good
That's
lord!
crazy.
That guy's a little ruthless.
There is
Yeah,
a-
that's
Yeah.
right.
you know, if you believe in that sort of thing, there is a special place in hell for that person.
That's
right,
right.
there next to Hitler getting the pineapple up the ass.
Yeah. God, man, that would suck. Like, just freaking kill me
Wow.
already. Don't stick them goddamn
Yeah,
clothes
no,
hanger up my catheter.
dang.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's crazy.
just the thought of having a catheter is uncomfortable to begin with, and then oh God.
Nah, yeah.
Jeez.
That'd
I'd
be
get
why I
angry.
go cry a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
About to cry in the shower tonight just because I was told that.
Just thinking about it and crying.
Yeah, no lie.
It makes you wonder. I mean, what is wrong with people?
Drugs.
Dude, I know. And like, I mean, you can't sit there and say like they all have some kind of mental issue to where that's why they're doing that. Like, no, they're something. I mean, I don't think it all. Maybe something happened to them in their like younger years to where now they think, oh, cool, I'm gonna go freaking kill some people real quick and I'm gonna get away with it. And I
Right.
mean, come on,
That still ain't no excuse though.
Right. You got to think,
no,
too.
I couldn't do it.
What could happen to you at such a young age that's going to make you grow up
Exactly.
and then kill 87 people?
Yeah.
Right. It's like, did you die or something? No, you didn't. So why are you wanting to do this? I couldn't do it. There's no way I could do
No.
it.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
That's one thing, man. I could never see like, especially some of these people, like not even just like they're killing little kids. I couldn't do it. Could
Yeah,
not. Nope.
hey, everybody's got that one person that they run into where you're like, yeah, the world would probably be a better place if you were hit by a bus.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, or there's that handful of people that all they got to do is be in the same room with you, and you just want to smack them.
Yep. No,
But
believe
never-
me. If someone ever like attempted to even try to kill like somebody in my family, they better hope they get hit by a bus before someone gets a hold of them.
Right, absolutely. I mean,
Like
it's
no.
no matter how mad I've ever gotten at anybody, I've never thought of doing the things to somebody that these people are doing. I mean, it just
Right.
some people, it's like their brains are wired different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
not, or not wired at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. It just they're like one fry short of a Happy Meal. That's for sure. Like how I don't get it. I know there's another case like right by our house in I don't know if it's Berlin Heights or Milan, but it happened. I think it was back in the I'm gonna say early '90s. It happened, but I don't know. This guy, I can't find the story on it, but this guy wound up dead, murdered, and they have no idea who did it. But the parents, I believe, received like a letter or something saying that, and I think so did the police, and saying that his body was buried like I forgot what the street is right the street from us, but it was buried in that area, and it's so big of an area now. All these houses are built on it and all that, so they can't even
They can't even look
Can't-
for it if they
can't
wanted
even
to.
look for it. Yeah, they can't pick up. They can't pick up a house and start digging under them. I mean, that's
Right.
back in the day. All these houses weren't built, so. But yeah, and that's right up the street from us.
Come to think about it, though, like going back to the subject of, what's wrong with these people. Do you remember that old movie, Amityville Horror?
Yeah.
That dude got
It's an
pretty much
amazing movie.
right. He pretty much got possessed and killed his family.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
what if this is more or less along the same lines?
I mean-
I don't
mean,
buy it.
Maybe some people, maybe they can
Right.
be,
I'm not saying it
but-
doesn't happen, but for a lot of them, I don't buy it.
No.
Yeah, some of them are just plain out. I don't know. They're dumb for sure. Bunch of idiots wanting to do that.
Right.
I mean, look at Richard Ramirez.
Mhm.
Yeah,
that
the
dude
Night
was
Stalker.
that dude. Yeah, he was a fucking sicko, man. That
Yeah.
dude. He's
like, how can
done
you
some
even
of the
do
worst
that?
shit I've ever even heard.
Hmm.
That dude's
Yeah, I
just
couldn't.
evil.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I don't get it.
I mean, well, here's another one from my neck of the woods. Anthony Sowell, the Cleveland Strangler.
Yeah, yep.
You know, he was convicted in 2011 of murdering women, and they found they found their bodies at his home.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He not only was he a serial killer, he was a serial rapist. He would rape these women and strangle them, and then bury their bodies in his backyard and in his attic.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
this
and like
this is
how
a recent
how
one.
crazy? Yeah, how crazy do you have to be to like I'm gonna do this, but I'm just gonna keep them around my house. I'm not even gonna try to hide these guys. Like take them somewhere. I'm gonna keep them around my house.
Right.
Like that's yeah, I don't get it.
I mean, it's not like this guy was some shut-in, Jason Voorhees kind of serial killer. I mean, this guy had a military service record and all kind of stuff.
Yeah, see, that's I don't know. I don't get it.
well, I'm gonna read you guys the this little thing I have pulled up on Anthony Sowell or Sowell or however you pronounce his last name.
Anthony Dum Dum.
All right, so it says, at the time of Sowell's arrest, 7 dead bodies were found around his home. 2 were in his living room, 5 more throughout the dwelling. 1 only had a head in a basket. And during the extended search of the property, 4 more bodies were recovered, along with a freshly dug up shallow grave. A woman who was brought back to the house and drugged and raped escaped and lodged a complaint with the police. Sowell's activities went on for so long that for years he was known as the smelly guy by his neighbors.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, man. You would have
Yeah.
to think that would start smelling.
Yeah, it was. It says though most serial killers are supposed to be white male and 20 to 35 years of age, the Ohio serial killer seems to enjoy the equal opportunity serial killer state.
Jesus.
That's right. We don't discriminate.
That's right. Dude, I was reading one about this case where, so this lady, she lived with her parents, and I think at the time she was like in her 20s, and I don't know where this was. I don't think it was in Ohio, but so she was in her 20s, and I guess something had happened where she pretty much like her mental state was like pretty much done, so she didn't want to leave the couch. She just pretty much sat on the couch the whole time, like for years, would just sit there. So the cops, I think it went on for like about 20 years of her just like sitting on the couch, not like going to her bed, none of that, just sitting there. And so the cops, I think, did a welfare check, and because people were smelling stuff, and she was found dead, obviously, just sitting on a couch, and she had pooped, peed like all over herself, and she did it so much, and it just sitting there. It literally ate holes through the couch of where she was sitting. Like her body imprint was there, and
Holy
it was
shit.
just yeah, dude, it was just a hole because it was all over her. Like I guess the stuff, poop and everything was just all over her. And the parents obviously got arrested because they let her sit there like that without even trying to take care of her, like not eating, not drinking, just literally sitting there, and
That's messed up.
letting her do that. And she obviously, she wasn't in the right state to where she could do stuff on her own. So
Right.
yeah, and yeah, the couch, like you can see the imprint of the body, but it was completely like tore apart because it just whatever was coming out of her was just eating the
Yeah,
couch
like
up.
corroded it. Yeah.
I mean, and you got to think sitting there for 20 years like that, it's going to do something.
Right. Yeah,
That's
that's
That's a long
That's messed
fucking
up.
time.
And it's not even like she was alive for them whole, she was dead, and they still let her sit there for them 20 years just rotting in that stuff. Like that's disgusting. How could you even want to? I couldn't smell. How could you smell that every single day?
No, I couldn't.
I heard a story similar to that one, where I think it was like an old man or something passed away in his recliner chair, and yeah, he lived alone, and then after like a few months, maybe a little longer, his neighbors came in and checked on him, and they found him dead in the chair. And I guess when the police and all that got there and they tried to remove the body, they said it was like ripping Velcro off the chair because he was
Oh God!
yeah, because he was sitting there so long, he
Oh.
kind of just absorbed into the chair.
Right. Oh Jesus!
I heard that too, but that's disgusting. I don't know.
yeah.
That's just crazy.
I saw this show called Crime Scene Cleanup, and it's about this company out in California that goes around and cleans up like blood off of the road, and somebody dies in their house, somebody gets murdered in their house. They go through and clean up the scene, and just some of the stuff they show on that show there, it's just like it soaks through the carpeting and into the
It does.
subflooring, and
Me and Brian actually used to clean blood up like that from suicides and stuff.
No, you did.
And, well, it was actually. So I'll tell you a story
I told him I
about it.
wasn't doing it.
And so I got a call to go do this cleanup. Now they won't tell you right away that it's for a blood cleanup, anything like that. And I went on a couple of them. And you're right, yeah, it soaks through the carpet. It stinks bad, like
Yeah.
real bad. Like I've done sewage cleanups, and I would rather do that 10 times a day than do one of these like suicide cleanups with it soaking in carpet because it's bad. But I went to this call and found out it was a suicide. So I get to the door, and the blood is all over the floor when you first walk in because he shot himself, all over the floor, and then there's blood splattered on the door with brain matter.
Oof.
And so, the wife's there, and the daughter was still at school at the time when this happened. But, and I'm cleaning it up, and it's disgusting already because I'm cleaning this stuff up. But then the lady's asked me, like, oh, I'm just going to tell my daughter that my husband's sick in the hospital. I don't want her knowing this. And I'm like, man, and then what's going to happen when she finds out? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Right.
going to be worse. But then, like, I'm cleaning this blood up, and she has tons of people over, because this happened. She's like, they're in the house eating pizza right by me, wanting if I want some pizza. Why I'm cleaning, why her husband's blood is laying there and his brain is laying there. They're asking about if I'm wanting pizza. And I said, no, I don't want no freaking pizza. Are you kidding me? No.
Like, nope, sorry.
And I'll tell you one more about the carpet. I went to one, and it was in Cleveland. And they already take the bodies before we get there. But I'm cutting the carpet up, and there's blood on the carpet, on the blanket, because it was another suicide. And the mom, is down there, and I'm sure she was like all distraught and all that. But she's wanting to know if she can keep, like, if I can cut the blanket up, she can keep part of it. And I'm like, no, you cannot keep none of it. Like, I'm not going to give you this blood-stained blanket to keep. And I get it, your son's, but no, like, I have to throw this stuff out. And yeah, I mean, the smell, though, that comes off that carpet once it soaks in is horrible. Like, bad. I would never do it again, ever.
Nope.
Do you get paid good for doing that?
Nope. You know what?
No.
And you're supposed to, you're supposed to get hazard pay, obviously, for doing stuff like that. But the company
Well,
I
they
work
never
for,
did.
no, they paid me straight. Like, when I worked there, and Robert, remember, he worked at Surf Pro for a little bit. But when I worked there, I was only making like $13 an hour. And that's all I would make when I did suicide cleanups as well, like $13 an hour. And
So
like
you
the
gotta
company,
pay me a lot more than that.
yeah, well, the company, thank God they sold it to someone else, so it might be different now. But the people that owned it before, man, they were so nasty. Like, when you use these rags cleaning up blood from these suicides, you're supposed to throw the stuff in a separate bin, a hazard bin, and get it disposed of properly. No, they throw it right in the washer and they wash that crap, and you're using it the next day.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's
Is
how
that
disgusting
even legal?
it is. No, I
No.
don't think it is, because like I said, you're supposed to have a separate bin for stuff like
that's
that.
illegal.
Yeah, and dispose of it the right way, not put it in a washer and wash it with everything else and then use it again.
I mean, there's a lot of shady companies like that. They'll do anything and everything to save money and make money.
And that's what
Right.
it is, because obviously you're paying a pretty penny if you have to get that disposed of the right way, and they're not doing that. I mean, it was just right in the washer. Here you go, and you can use them the next day.
They did too.
No, it was disgusting. Yeah, it was disgusting. And that's why, and I don't know if they still do like suicide cleanups, but I wouldn't want to find out because I don't want to do them again. It's too disgusting.
Right, absolutely. I mean, then you got the ones that like to eat people, like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
When they raided his
Man.
house, they found body parts in his fridge. They found
Mm-hmm.
57-gallon drums with dissolving body parts in them in his basement. They found a
Yep.
drawing where he was planning on using bones to make an altar.
See, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
And this dude got away with it until 91.
Yep.
From 78 to 91, and I think he even killed a few people before that.
Yeah, I think what it is with these people, man, like once you start and you're like, oh, okay, thinking I got away with this one,
God.
you're just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Well, that's like that guy, Thomas Dillon, Stark County. He killed a group of hunters. He was going around killing, having sex with women, killing people's dogs, shooting electric boxes, just doing everything. And,
Jesus.
yeah.
He's from
And that
Canton.
was Stark County.
Yeah, he's from
What's that,
Canton.
Robert? Is he?
Yeah, he's from Canton, Ohio. That was back in '89 to '92.
Yeah. And then 1993, he killed 5 hunters.
That's
Yeah.
See, I couldn't do it.
Wow.
Thing is, like, how do these hunters, them being hunters, let him,
That's
just
what
walk
I,
up and kill them all?
that's
I
what
know.
I would like to say, because you know
I'd say maybe 1 or 2 okay, but not all of them.
No,
Right.
he did 5.
me and my old man are out there in the woods, and this fucking psycho starts attacking my old man. You damn well know I'm gonna blow him away.
Right.
Yeah, someone's for sure gonna get shot. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so this brings me to my next one. This guy's he's from Cuyahoga Falls here in Ohio, but the killing happened in Kansas City, Missouri. His name is Robert Berdella. He's the former owner of Bob's Bizarre Bazaar. He moved to Kansas City and is likely to have started killing during the summer of 1984. Berdella drugged and kidnapped men that he met in the bars or on the streets, and after torturing and raping them, usually for weeks at a time, he suffocated them. Thanks to the escape of his last victim, Berdella was arrested and charged with multiple counts of kidnapping, rape, torture, and murder. Though the bodies of his victims were never found, police did find journals and volumes of pictures that chronicled his crimes. His victims were subjected to electric shock, bleach in their eyes, injection of drain cleaner into their vocal cords,
Holy shit.
and repeated rape. They were dismembered, stuffed in trash bags, and then dumped in a landfill.
Jesus.
That would suck. Like bleaching the
Yeah.
eye, number one. Man, I'd be so mad if that hit me in my face with bleach.
Yeah, and this was
That's
through
crazy.
1984 through 1987.
Jeez.
God. I don't get how these guys get away with it so much.
don't-
Like you would
I
think
don't get it.
once if that was my daughter or something, she came up missing, I'm gonna be all up on it. And
Right.
the cops ain't gonna do something. I'm gonna do something about it. But it's like these things go on for years without no one finding bodies. None of that.
Well,
I guess
imagine
it's easier.
how many
nowadays,
serial
but-
killers that were out there that's done all this shit and been died at an old age and never been caught.
Well,
Yep.
that's like some of the stuff I was looking up, like the cases that happened like back in the 30s. They can't do nothing about them now because these guys are already dead and gone. They done got away with it,
Right.
and they can say, "Oh, we're gonna still charge him all day long," but he's dead. What are you gonna? What's gonna happen? Nothing. Yeah, I couldn't. I don't know, man. Couldn't. I don't see how they get away with it so many years though. I guess it's
Yeah.
it's harder to do it nowadays, just because dude, I'll track my kids' phone just to make sure knowing where they are, and they can ping phones and all that now. The last place,
Yep.
but back then you couldn't really do all that. Them
It's
big old
just like
phones they
Jack
had
the
back then.
Ripper.
Yeah,
Jack the Ripper,
Yep.
that was like in the 1800s or something like that. Shit, they still don't know who he is.
Yeah, to this
Exactly.
day, they still don't know it.
which is crazy that it happened that long ago and they still have no idea who that guy is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's
That's-
this guy named Gary Heidnick. He's from Eastlake, and he killed people in Pennsylvania, and this was back in '86 and '87. But this guy, from what I've read, it puts Ariel Castro from Cleveland to shame.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Okay, so this is what it says in the article I'm reading. It says Heidnick put fellow serial killer offender Ariel Castro, also from Ohio, to shame when he abducted, tortured, imprisoned 6 women in his basement for 1 year. The 2 victims that he murdered were fed to the remaining 4, who were routinely exposed to excessive torture, electrocution, and starvation. Using the women against one another, he promised better treatment, food, etc. for information about captives who broke the rules. One of Heidnick's captives convinced him that she could be trusted to leave the house. She had already been allowed to roam throughout the house, away from the basement, and promised to bring him a new captive when she returned. She brought the authorities instead. Heidnick's ability to successfully invest his money. He had amassed over $500,000, which was used as proof of competency at his trial. Huh.
Jeez.
Good Lord.
Like, he
I
killed
don't get it, man.
the two he
And
killed,
I
he
just-
fed to the other 4.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That is so disgusting. And like, could you imagine just being one of them people and you have to like the only way you're gonna eat is if you eat fat? You're
Yeah,
eating a human?
I'd starve
Heck was
myself.
that?
Yeah, I mean, if it came down to that, where like, okay, you know, I'm either gonna die or eat a human, I'm probably gonna. No, I don't know, man. If I get hungry enough, I might eat a midget or something, but not a.
I mean,
it depends.
you-
Like,
But you don't know that until you're faced with that,
Right.
because there's plenty of cases of people like starving to death and like eating like people that are already dead. You know what I mean?
right. I mean, yeah.
Right,
If you
Right.
if you get to that point, man, you'll pretty much eat anything. Like, 'cause you're just like, I gotta, because you never, you know, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, I'm gonna escape. I'm gonna get out of here. Let me just eat this freaking girl real quick, and
Yeah, that's crazy.
you know, I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I can say I won't do it, but like, yeah, like Logan said, unless you're faced with that, then you never know.
Mm.
I wouldn't eat a brain though. Like, if someone tried to feed, I couldn't do that. I can eat some skin and some meat, but not a brain or none of that. Like, couldn't be doing all that.
Tell him to deep fry it.
Couldn't.
Make
Yeah,
it
dude,
like an apple or
Stevie.
something.
That stuff better be cooked before he gives it to me. I ain't eating it raw.
Yeah.
Oh God, no way. Can you imagine the smell coming off of it though? Like,
Oh, jeez.
if they were held captive, you know what I'm saying? And then obviously they probably ain't taking care of themselves because they can, and you gonna eat that person? Whew.
Mm-mm.
I know I'm not doing it.
Nah, I don't think I could. Man, not that smell hit me like that. I'll throw up everywhere.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even be no point in me eating. I'm just gonna throw it up.
I'm never gonna say that I won't ever do it, because like I said, I'll never know. Hopefully, I'll never know.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's gonna hold me captive for too long.
Like, hey, you can hold me captive, but I'm not eating that.
But I'm saying, like, even if like there was a plane crash, you know what I mean, and they was like stranded and stuck on there, and some of the passengers were dead, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're just fucking stuck there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. See, that'd be like a different thing, I guess. Like if you got stranded on like some kind of island or something like that from a plane crash, and you had to do something, either eat a human or try to capture Bigfoot over there and eat him. But I don't see that happening.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I just couldn't see myself like holding someone that long, and then killing them, and then feeding them to someone.
Right.
God.
No.
I mean, as far as that goes, being that guy, yeah, I can never do that, yeah.
Right. I couldn't. Yeah, that's too much.
Way
Way
too
too much. I couldn't. Oh no.
I think we should take a break on that for a minute and talk about our shirts and koozies.
Absolutely.
There you go. And before we put them up, remember we have links on the page for Anchor. Hit that and make sure you play at least one of our episodes. And then there's also another link. It's for a. Let me look it up real quick while Robert's putting that up. Yeah, it's for the second annual Paranormality Podcast Awards. So make sure you fill that stuff out and put us on there.
Make sure we're your favorite podcast.
That's right.
But yeah, I'm definitely probably gonna buy one of these shirts though.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting. Like I
Shirt
said,
and a koozie.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm waiting for the lady to message me back about when she can get them koozies done, and then I just figure we can start saving up towards the shirt. I mean, she only wants 15 a piece for anything over 10, so
Yeah.
and she makes some good stuff. Like even next Brian, she makes some really good stuff.
Yeah, she does.
So yeah, and her page is also on our Facebook page as well. If you guys want to look her up, but yeah, she makes some good stuff. So it doesn't fall apart or any of that.
Absolutely. Also, for those of you out there that like energy drinks, again, we are sponsored by a little company called Rogue Energy. If you go and buy some of their energy drinks, use the code Bearded Bros Podcast, and you get 10% off of your energy drink purchase.
That's right.
And for all of you vapors, we are also sponsored by Elite Vapes. You can go ahead and get all your vape accessories as well as juices.
Yep, like I said, all the links are on our page, so don't be shy.
And now,
Give them a try.
now back to the murder mysteries.
Now back to this.
So all
So
I
you
got
got anything
left
else,
to talk.
Robert, from Columbus?
Oh yeah, there's quite a few of them. There's one. His name is Joey LaBute, and this is back in 2016. So March 4th, 2016, and 1,000 of out-of-towners are in Columbus for another year of its annual Arnold Classic.
Okay, yeah, it's the weightlifting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joey LaBute Jr., normally an indoorsy Netflix and binge kind of kid, decides to make a night of it, attending a friend of the family's coming out party at Union Cafe. A few drinks later, his acquaintances realize he's never come back from the bar. And this is a quote from one of his friends. He says, "He doesn't say bye, he doesn't say a word, he just vanishes uncharacteristically." Then weeks later, on March 29th, his body was found alongside the shores of the Scioto River. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But there were no...
Didn't seem like it.
Well, it's spelled Scioto. Scioto?
Yeah, I'd probably mess it
Scioto?
up too. Yeah. I'd mess it up for sure.
Yeah, I have no clue.
But it says there were no...
I would have just said a river.
Yeah. Along the shores of the river. But it says there were no obvious causes of death, no wounds or bruising or any other telltale signs of a struggle. When the autopsy was finally released, something curious was discovered. Joey more than likely passed away before even entering the river. There were no normal signs.
Robert, hold on, Robert. I'm gonna interrupt you. Jessica coming in and said it's called Scioto. There you go. Well, at least that's how she spelled it out. Yeah.
Okay, so
Maybe it's
he more than likely passed away before
Scioto.
entering the Scioto River.
No, it might be Scioto.
It's a Toyota River. It's the Toyota River.
There you go.
It's that S River.
Yeah, it's that river down there. But it says when the autopsy was finally released, something curious was discovered. Joey more than likely passed away before entering the river. There was no normal signs of drowning, excessive fluid, but he did have a blood alcohol level of 0.15, something that could have been affected easily by the body's duration in the water. While there's much speculation to what may have happened to LaBute during the missing time, including speculation linking him to the smiley face murders theory, nothing is known for certain, and what happened to Joey LaBute's remains is still a mystery to this day.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It is.
Good old
Just go missing.
Toyota
Oh,
River.
yeah.
Good old Toyota River.
Good old Nissan River.
You said it was a 0.15.
15.
Yeah, 0.15.
Sounds like a Friday night to me. No, you know what? That's pretty high though. Like, if you gotta down some for sure to get up there.
Yeah, certainly.
And I guess it all really depends on your body size too. Like height, weight, and all that kind of plays into effect in how fast you can get up there. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kind of sickos out there.
Yep.
This article I'm reading here is this is about Mitchell and Wanda Barzy from Salt Lake City. They're the ones that actually kidnapped Elizabeth Smart.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that
And,
sounds familiar.
Yeah, it says here she was abducted from her home by knife point by the husband, and he claimed to be a religious preacher and held Elizabeth at a camp in the woods where he repeatedly raped her over and over again.
Jesus.
And during her captivity, she actually would go out into public with her captors dressed head to toe in white robes and wore headscarves and all kind of stuff to hide her identity. She actually put up with that for, well, not put up with. She actually was in captivity for over a year with that happening to her. The husband was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole, and the wife, and this kind of ticks me off right here. The wife who allowed this to happen, like didn't do anything to stop her psycho husband. She served 15 years in prison with the possibility of probation in 2024.
Jeez.
Wow.
Didn't they make a movie like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made a movie about it.
Yep.
So
Make a movie about
I don't
us,
think
right?
she should ever have the possibility of parole.
No.
No,
Right?
absolutely not.
You would.
Let's keep
You
her
would-
in.
Yeah, you would think
Yeah,
that,
that's what I'm
but
saying.
they don't. Obviously, the way that the system is anymore, you'll go to prison longer for having a little bit of marijuana on you than you do killing someone.
Yeah, they go after people that like to toke it up every once in a while when there's people out there diddling kids that, get
Exactly.
squat.
All I know is, like I said before, someone ever touches my kid, they ain't got to worry about prison. I'm gonna say this live. I will murder them.
Yeah.
There's no way. I couldn't do. No, there's no way I can stand back and let this guy that touched my kid get 10, 15 years while a guy smoking a joint gets 50 to life for nothing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
no, ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, there's like I said before, there is a special place in hell for people like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be dragging them there.
Right there next to Hitler, getting the pineapple.
Yeah, I couldn't. I don't know, man. I just, like I said, I don't know what goes through some of these people's minds that thinking kidnapping people or killing kids or any of that
Right.
just is okay, because yeah, I couldn't, man. I don't know.
Yeah, especially kids. I mean, what?
Exactly.
You know what? You was talking about sitting here and not being able to torture people. Someone that touches kids, I can torture them. I can think
Oh,
of a million things I would
absolutely.
do to them right
I
now.
would-
Absolutely.
I'd be happy doing it the whole time.
Exactly.
Like I wouldn't even,
You
I
ain't
wouldn't
lying.
even regret it afterwards.
I would
Nope.
no.
I'd smile the whole time. Yeah, because someone ever touches someone, like a little kid in front of me, or especially like someone in my family. Oh yeah, that ain't gonna happen. That's for
Mm-mm.
sure.
I will, repeatedly rub a cheese grater all over their body, ripping their skin off, then sprinkle salt
Yep.
all over them.
Oh yeah. It's not gonna.
Jeez.
Their pain and their
Robert got this planed out already.
I know.
I'm about to go over there and join up with them, man. Shit.
Their death is not gonna go by fast. That's for sure. They're gonna
No,
feel some
very
pain.
slow.
Well, with that cheese grater, that would hurt.
Yeah, Robert be sitting there for
Jesus.
hours.
Just. Yeah.
I
There's
have-
no way.
That'd be the
I have
funnest
3
activity though to do that to them.
Right. I have 3 nieces and 2 nephews. And heaven forbid anything ever happened to any one of them kids. There wouldn't be a news station in the entire world that would be able to air that story because
No.
of the things I would do to that person.
There would be a lot of blurred images for sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
All you would know is his name, and that's it. You ain't seen his picture. You might see a before picture if he has one, but that's it.
Yeah.
I can promise you that.
They'd never find the body.
Nope.
They would
Oh,
anything
I'm
ever
gonna let him
happens.
find it. I'll let him find it because I want to show them what I did to him for touching my kid or niece or whatever. Yeah, they're gonna find it. I'll call the
Anything
cops
ever
myself.
happens to any of them kids, it's over with.
you can
That-
cook them and
that
give
per-
it to Logan.
Yep. That person
I mean-
just ended their life
Bring
right
them
there.
over.
Yeah.
Bring them over.
I'm gonna do
That's
what Jack Reacher did. Well, Jack Reacher didn't do it. It's a show on I've been watching. It's called Reacher, and these bad guys to send a message, they would take whoever the victim is or whatever, nail him to a wall after beating the crap out of him, cut his nuts off, and force feed it down his throat.
Yep.
Jeez,
Sounds like justice to me.
that's
He's
right.
gonna pay. He will pay. That's for sure. No, like and I've told my kids if a grown man ever touches them, especially my daughters. Even Jackson, he's young too, so but if a grown man ever touches them, I'd go to prison because
Oh yeah,
I would
no doubt.
I would do some damage for sure. Like I'd let them. Like I said, I'm not gonna hide the body. They're gonna find it because I want them to see. I'll even take pictures of them. I want them to see what I did to him,
Yeah.
and I want them to air it on the news so that way whoever thinks they're gonna touch my kid again or whatever, they're gonna know what they're gonna get.
It's just gonna go fucking down the line.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that the truth?
Cause I'm gonna want some of that too.
Yeah.
You gotta let me
I'll,
get some torturing in.
I'll beat him to where he can't leave, and then I'm just gonna call everybody. Say, hey, come on over. We're having a party.
I'm gonna make a slip and slide, and instead of using water, I'm using rubbing alcohol, and I'm gonna throw thumbtacks all down the middle of it.
That's right.
Just take that layer of skin off. You know what I'm saying? To where they don't bleed out, but it's
Yep.
all showing, and just throw them down that slip and slide.
Yep, and it's
That's
not
right.
a pool of water at the bottom; it's a pool of salt. I mean, fresh
Yeah.
salt.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Some fucking
All
rock
right.
salt.
Well, we've. It's a general consensus that none of us tolerates child touchers and the like.
That's right.
But we're really diving into the realm of
We're
yeah.
we better. We're talking like we've done this before.
Right. let's just dial the napalm back a little bit
All
here.
right.
Allegedly.
All right, so I got another one then.
Allegedly, yes.
I got another one,
All right.
and his guy's name is Brian Schaefer, and he went missing. I want to say back in 2006. So carefully layered and shrouded in mystery in the disappearance of Brian Schaefer, similar in many ways to LaButte's mysterious disappearance. Schaefer too went missing after a night out with friends close to the campus area. After party hopping from a bar to bar, Schaefer and his friends settled on a Ugly Tuna Saloona for last call.
Ugly Tuna Saloona.
That's what it's called. After a
Sounds
time
like a
they
hooker.
right,
I'll go missing too.
but here's the weird
Where was
part
you
though.
at? I was at the Ugly Tuna Saloona. Duh.
But it says after a time they became separated, and despite calling his cell phone and waiting outside for him after the bar closes, he disappears and is never seen again. That in and of itself doesn't make any more or less mysterious than any other missing persons case, except a sudden and inexplicable disappearance should have been impossible in an area so densely surveilled with cameras. And this is a quote from one of his buddies that he was with. It says, not only that, but there was no other way of entering or leaving the building. And it says many of...
Okay, you know what? I know what story you're talking about. Yep, I've seen that.
And I'm actually going to throw up to a missing persons report picture from the, what are these people called? Crime Stoppers.
Okay.
You know, that way
Well,
you
while
don't...
you're doing that, some good news, guys. We are able to run ads now on Anchor.
Oh, look at that.
It's about
Greater
So
Southern
you're
Content
saying-
is brought to you by Anchor.
Well, it says we're hard at work setting up your first Anchor ad, and then they'll email us once we get it. But yeah, we're able to do it now.
Awesome.
Robert, you're
So-
saying this guy went missing in the building you can't get out of?
Yeah, well, there's
yeah.
only one way in and one way out, and that's through the front door, basically. And this guy, he went in and was never seen again.
Yeah, and they couldn't find him right in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it says many of us has been to Ugly Tuna Saloona. We're familiar with the rolling escalator leading up to its main entrance. It serves as the bar's only true entrance or exit. It's almost unfathomable that someone could leave the bar any other way. But that's almost...
Maybe there's an underground exit or something?
It's upstairs, though. That's the thing. You have to take escalators up to the main entrance.
Yeah, and they actually have a video of them like going up to the bar on the escalator, but
Never
they don't
came
have
back
one
down.
him
Yeah.
coming
So,
down. He
so
never
there's
came back out.
actual like CZ, like actual footage of it.
Of well, yeah, they have actual footage of him on the escalator going into the bar, like going up to the bar. And he was talking, I think, to like, I'm pretty sure in the video he was talking to like a couple college girls or something like that going up.
And there's
yeah,
no way
that's
he
what-
could have like came down with like a hood up or like his face
Right.
covered or anything.
That I mean, could have, but he's just I mean he's missing. So unless he just decided, I'm not going back home or whatever.
Well, not
but
only that, like he could have left and then something like with his face being covered and then something happened to him after he left. You know what I mean?
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Yeah,
only one way in and one way out. That's kind of like crazy.
It's like it disappeared out of nowhere.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like one of them. Like I don't know. You've been to Nashville though, Logan. One of them bars like that are up on top. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
there's no like back door you can walk out and go outside and do all that. There's just,
Right.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
he just wound up missing.
Yeah,
In the bar.
it even says right here, it says young Brian Schaefer was seen on camera entering the bar but never leaving. An impossible act that has left many detectives and practicing conspiracy theorists scratching their heads in bewilderment. It's been 10 years and there has been no solid or substantial leads on Schaefer's whereabouts. Some believe he was abducted, others believe he's still alive to this day, starting a new life in some other more remote place. What is known is that he left in his wake a slew of friends and a family that grieve his absence each passing day.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I want to know how
If you
people
would,
just...
Robert, that is kind of messed up, bud. If you would,
It
Robert,
is.
go ahead and put that picture up whenever you're ready there. I want you guys to ask yourselves, is this the face of a serial killer?
Bigfoot.
He could
Yes.
be.
Like, yes.
Yes.
It's kind of a small picture, so you might have to zoom in.
Oh yeah, that old lady. Definitely.
I know that old lady.
I don't trust any old ladies.
No, I know. Look, I listened to a podcast called Morbid, and they was talking about her on there.
Yep, that she looks like somebody's grandmother, but that is actually Dorothea Puente.
Yes.
She, the newspapers actually dubbed her the Death House Landlady.
Yeah, you can just tell by her face she's up to no good.
Yeah.
So I've
She,
seen how they drive.
So, yeah. So what does she do?
she would actually take people into her house, like to stay there, and would drug them and kill
Yeah,
them, and then
poison 'em.
poison them and bury them in the
Jesus.
backyard.
That sweet old lady did that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Here's one right here. In April 1982, 53-year-old Ruth Monroe began living with Puente in her upstairs apartment, but soon died from an overdose of codeine and acetaminophen. Puente told police that the woman was very depressed because her husband was terminally ill, and they believed her and ruled her death a suicide.
That's nuts.
They believe
yeah.
old ladies, whatever they say.
It is.
She sweet old ladied her way out of a lot of it until
Yeah, I mean,
she was actually caught.
I would have looked really hard inside if they said just,
yeah.
two people died already for living with her. I would have.
Right.
I would.
I mean, there were like
I
there
was
were,
like,
far
how
into
old
it.
is she? Oh, she's fucking guilty.
there
Yeah,
were
she
9
is.
victims total. She was only convicted of 3 of them.
I would have charged her with the first one.
Joe King says, wasn't she on the Golden Girls?
I think she was.
That's what I first thought of. Like, dang, Dorothy, calm down. What are you doing? Oh my God, that is like That lady, she's probably done stuff like that before that she got that old though.
Look,
Oh, yeah,
I
you
watched
ain't lying.
Look, I listened to an entire podcast about her. Like it's some crazy shit.
Yeah, and she probably just figured now that I'm older, I can get away with it more.
Never
Like,
let my
they
kids go
ain't gonna
trick or treating again.
Every time Brian's gonna be driving out, he's gonna look at on the other side of the road and see some old lady driving, about to run her off the road. He's like, "You ain't killing nobody."
You ain't so sweet.
I know your true colors.
It gets
Don't it-
even better. I mean,
Oh, my
during
God.
the initial investigation, what this article's saying is she was not immediately a suspect. She was allowed to leave the property. She went to buy a cup of coffee at a nearby hotel. Instead, after buying the coffee, she fled to Los Angeles. She, while she was there, she was befriended by an elderly male pensioner who she had met at a bar, who obviously, she's all over the papers and whatnot. The person actually recognized her as the woman that he saw on the TV, and he called local law enforcement on her. That's how she was
Jesus.
busted.
And for those of you who are just listening, whether it's just on Spotify or wherever you want to listen it to, if you want to see these photos that we're talking about, you can head over to our Facebook page, and you can see all you want.
She actually died in prison at the Chowchilla prison on March 27, 2011. She was 82 years old.
Died from
Wow.
overdose.
That would have been so
No.
fitting if that was the case.
I know. That's crazy.
That would be poetic justice right there.
Like I think after a while, she just didn't care. Like, all right, I'll go to prison. I don't have much longer, anyways.
Right?
So yeah,
Like I'm already 80.
Yeah. What's a couple years going to do? That's what I'm saying. Like the people, literally, we can see a person every single day and not think that they would do something like that, but them are the people that would.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, this is a pretty messed up world we live in here.
That's for sure.
Yes, it is.
Basically, the moral of the story here, folks, is be good to one another because you never know.
Pretty much. That's why I always try to not get mouthy with too many people. But
Remember,
I
the
get
older they
mouthy
are,
with a
the
lot of
meaner
people.
they are.
But-
Is that right, Steve?
what's that?
The older they are, the meaner they are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
pretty
know
much.
what? That's words to live by, Brian. I feel
But-
like.
Best believe, I'm the next old lady or old man I see at a gas station. I'm pumping their gas for them. Ain't no way they're doing anything to me like that.
Bro,
I'm
have
doing
you
whatever
guys
I
ever
can.
heard of Albert Fish?
Yes.
Bro, alright, I said something about Richard Ramirez before saying that, but Albert Fish is literally the most fucked up case I have ever heard of in my entire fucking life. I listened to a podcast about him too. I should have looked him up, but he just now popped in my head, so I didn't really look him up. But bro, you guys need to look up Albert Fish, seriously.
Albert Fish.
I thought I
Yes.
heard of them. I just never really looked into it.
Bro, it's so fucking bad.
Yeah, I never looked into it to see like what it was all about. Dude, last night. Now get
If
this,
I'd have thought
'cause
about
knew-
it, I would have looked it up, man. That's definitely I fumbled on that one.
Let me
Him-
tell you how dedicated I am to like our episodes. Like whenever we're gonna do one. Last night, I fell asleep. Now I was watching true crime stuff, like trying to get some stuff, and I fell asleep with like the headphones in and my phone on. And now this is the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. So, anyways, I'm listening to true crime stuff, and so it must have ended while I was sleeping, and it went on to some stuff where people are like they were talking about like glitzes in the world and stuff like the Matrix basically.
Yeah.
And so like they were showing people that like they were driving by and these people were just like standing still, like not breathing, not moving, just standing there, and then they would all of a sudden start walking again. So I wake up and I had this freaking guy just completely staring into the phone, and best believe my phone got a good smacking. I was like, I mean, you got to think the phone is like by my face because I'm laying on my side, the phone's laying there, and I wake up because like I hear a lady talking, and I'm like, what is that? And I forgot my headphones were in, and yeah, I woke up and all I seen was this face looking into my face, deep into my soul. I
Start
smacked
smacking your phone.
I did. I smacked. I was like, get the freak away from me. But yeah, dude, I was never again will I fall asleep like that.
Yeah, so I was having nightmares all night last night, right? So before my alarm went off, I was like half in and half out of a sleep, like right in between.
Mm-hmm.
And when my alarm went off, it sounded, for some odd reason in my head, it sounded like the loudest pig squeal I've ever heard in my entire life, like a fucking dying pig, dude. I shot out of bed, I jumped up, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And it's not a pig, that's not my fucking alarm. I don't know why it sounded like that.
Did you ever find? So was it your phone that went off, or
it was my phone that went off? I don't know why
weird.
it sounded like that when I was like half in and out of sleep though.
That's weird.
And I was already having
crazy.
nightmares all night and shit.
That would scare the crap out of me too.
I think your house is haunted.
My house ain't haunted. I would know if it was haunted.
Brian, your house is haunted.
Right, well, yeah, Brian, yours.
Yeah, your house is haunted.
We have evidence that Brian's house is haunted.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm telling you, one of these weekends, man, we're going over there, and
I know.
That's
I told you, Kane. Come on over.
All right. Well,
right.
Look, I'm only gonna say just this one thing about Albert Fish because I didn't do enough research beforehand and I fumbled on that. But look, it says that he was an American serial killer, rapist, child molester, and cannibal. And the age of his victims were 3 to 9 plus.
nah, see that's
Yeah.
That's the most cruelest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. He was born in 1870 and he died in 1936.
Yep.
Jeez.
And he was known as, he has many aliases, but he was known as the Brooklyn Vampire,
The Gray Man.
the Gray Man, the Boogeyman. Like,
Yep.
dude, this dude's fucking, like, that's some sick shit.
Yeah, I
He
got
would actually write down like he would keep diaries of what he did to these kids, and
Yeah.
like he
See,
had
dude, like,
recipes.
that's the thing, man.
He had recipes that he had wrote down for cooking children.
Oh, that is just crazy.
See, I can kill a grown man if I need to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if it came down to that, but a little kid, no. I mean, what do they do to you that you have to do something like that to them? It makes no sense.
Well, I got another missing or unsolved, missing persons thing. And this one, she was 14. Her name is Christy Mullins. It says, most disappearances and murder mystery carry with them a sense of unease, of fear, and creepiness. Some, unfortunately, also have to leave you with deep sadness. Christy Mullins was a 14-year-old student at the West Stone High School when she and Carol Reeves, her childhood friend, received a call reportedly from a radio DJ claiming that there was a cheerleader competition behind the Graceland Shopping Center. The prize, he claimed, were free tickets to the Ohio State Fair. But there was no competition, and Carol Reeves, disappointed and confused, went into a department store to check on the time. When she returned, Christy was gone. And her friend said, and this is a quote, it says, her body was later found, her tiny skull fractured.
Oh shit.
Jeez.
It said, if the story had ended there, that would have been just as sad enough. Unfortunately, it doesn't. The one and only suspect arrested for the case was a man suffering from a developmental disability who was later found innocent due to a reliable alibi and the fact that he just didn't have the intellectual capacity of carrying out such a crime. 42 long years later, it was determined that her killer was none other than the person who originally discovered her body, Henry H. Newell Jr.
Jesus.
Yeah, a discovery that unfortunately came too late because Mr. Newell had died of cancer just 2 years earlier in 2013.
Wow.
Man.
You know what? I was reading up a story because I was looking up stuff like around this area too, and so in Milan, which is like 10 minutes up the road here, but so there was this older couple that I guess the husband had came home and they found the wife dead, and like no clue how like what happened to her. Like I guess she was hit in the head with something, and then I don't know if she was stabbed or no, she was just hit in the head and then basically beat to death, and so they had no idea. So they accused the husband, and it went 12 years without like anybody getting arrested. So they finally arrested the husband, and he was in prison for 23 years, and then they found out it wasn't him. So by the time they let him out, he already had terminally ill cancer, and had to go into a nursing home. So he couldn't even live his life. He already died by the time he had to come out.
That's crazy.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and Brian, I know this is about true crimes, but Annabelle is down here with some kids, and they're all sitting on top of the building of the mailboxes and that white fence.
All right.
So you want to go out there and get her. I just happened to see a little kid running on top of the building, and I'm like, what in the world? Yeah, in this freaking place. But
Crazy kids. I'll be right back.
Yep.
might get a true crime going on in real life. Hold on, let me record this.
Right.
Some vandalism going on.
You know, folks. To quote Jerry Springer, because with all these sickos out in the world, you never do really know. I mean, it just take care of yourselves and each other, because you never know. You never know when that time's going to come when your husband or wife is going to wake up by themselves.
Yep.
That actually brings me to my next one. This is not from Columbus. This is just a story in general. It doesn't give any whereabouts, nothing like that. But the name is.
Did you lie to me?
No, that's Annabelle, isn't it?
No, she's in her room.
Oh, well, sorry.
But this
Maybe
person's
get up.
name is Angela Hammond.
No. All right.
And it says she was talking in the payphone with her fiance, saying how there is a suspicious truck that keeps driving around the block. Then that truck parks near her where the payphone is, and he gets out and starts looking around with his flashlight as if he's lost or something. Then he confronts Angela and abducts her. Her fiance heard all this on the other line, and he immediately got in his car and to drive where Angela was. When doing so, he drove past the guy in the truck, and Angela was apparently screaming his name out for help. So he turns around and tries following the truck, but his transmission messes up, and the guy got away. Angela has never been heard from again, and she was pregnant.
Oh,
Jesus.
jeez.
Wow. Fuck, man. What timing? His transmission went out? Like
Yep.
when he went to pull around
Yeah, when he
Chase
passed
him?
he passed the truck that she was in, and I guess he heard her screaming, help. So he turns around, then he starts following him, and his transmission starts screwing up, and he got away.
Could you imagine how bad he felt like after that? Like,
Right.
I wouldn't even know
Oh,
what to do in that
Jesus.
situation. Like while my transmission is messing up, I don't even know what would be going through my mind.
I would have ran out and stopped somebody or something, knocked on a neighbor's door. Yeah, I need your car.
yeah, or just still.
I would have jacked
Yeah.
somebody's car. I would have
Yeah, no
ran
lie.
out in front of him, hope I didn't get hit, and then pull them out of their car.
Yep.
Look, it's just,
Yeah.
you get out, you're going with me.
Right.
We're going on a little chase.
That's some messed up stuff. I got one here all the way from Australia. Her name is Catherine Knight. This one's really something. She got in a fight with her boyfriend here, John Price, no relation. In February, it says here in the article, in February of 2000, a series of assaults on Price culminated with Knight stabbing him in the chest. Finally fed up, he kicked her out of the house. And then on February 29th, he stopped at the Scone Magistrates Court on his way to work and took out a restraining order in an attempt to keep her away from him and his kids. Well, that afternoon, he told his coworkers if he didn't come to work the next day, it's because she would murder him. Well, all that happened. This is where it gets kind of messed up. So the kids got sent over to a sleepover at their friend's house, and he then spent the evening with the neighbors before returning home and going to bed. Well, she showed up that night and she bought some lingerie, and they proceeded to do what couples do
where's
that
this
night.
story going?
They proceeded to do what couples do that night,
All right.
and she then woke him up after they had done it and killed him. And it gets better.
Jesus.
So not only did she kill him, she skinned him, hung him from a meat hook in the doorway to the lounge room, decapitated him, and cooked parts of his body, serving up the meat with a baked potato, a pumpkin, beetroot, and zucchini.
My God, so
God
she just had a whole
dang.
dinner.
Yeah, she turned
Yeah.
him into dinner. There were notes beside each plate, each one having the name of his children on it. She planned to feed him to his kids.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
She was actually arrested and pled guilty to manslaughter.
Well,
That's
because there's
it.
no way out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
That's all
Right,
you
yeah.
get. That's all you get.
Manslaughter?
I feel like she should have got like more charges. Maybe I don't know.
right. I mean, that's.
Right now, she's rotting in prison without parole.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Well,
I
then
would hope so.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
it's all right then. But still, I don't know. That's a lot of shit to take in right there.
Yeah.
Done meat hooked them and cut them and Jesus.
Cooked them to his kids. Like, come on now.
Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, that's all I got. So, I mean,
Yeah, that's that's some scary stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Robert, you better be nice to your wife.
Yeah, no
Stevie,
doubt.
you too.
That's right. So
All
what
right.
do we have for tomorrow? Let me see. I know I wrote it earlier. Let's see here, so I know.
I think we're doing a podcast tomorrow. Bigfoot.
Okay, we got more Bigfoot tomorrow.
That's
All
what I
right.
thought it was.
Yeah, tomorrow's Bigfoot, and then Wednesday is like the paranormal stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys enjoyed the true crime stuff, I mean,
We can always. Oh, we're definitely gonna do more if you guys want us to for sure. We were thinking maybe like every Monday, do with true crime, and then
True Crime
Go on
Mondays.
and
Yeah,
then
absolutely. Now we were gonna have some special guests. What day were the Soul Sisters gonna come on?
Wednesday when we do the paranormal stuff.
Ah, gotcha.
And then I don't know. Okay, so I guess I want you guys, everybody's really input on this. So Thursday, a guy wants to come on, and he, I guess he's like a medium or something like that. He does all that, and he wants to come on Thursday and just talk about like what he does and all that. And I don't know. I mean, it's I don't care honestly.
I say do it.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
do
what
it.
I say. I say
Yeah,
let's do it.
Thursday interview
Okay.
with a medium. That sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
and
what I
then,
said.
And then Friday we have the other podcast that wants to come on and talk UFOs and stuff.
Yep.
Which is fine.
I'm cool with that.
And then maybe like the following week we can go on their, we can just be guests on their podcast and do theirs. But yeah, so that's the rest of the week.
Yep, absolutely. We got all kind of good stuff in store for you, folks.
Yep, that's for sure.
Just like, subscribe, and follow, and you'll be able to hear all of it.
if you're listening on like, Apple Music or whatever else there is out there,
iHeart, Anchor, any of that.
yeah, just make sure you write us a review and give us, like 5 stars and stuff.
Oh yeah, that'll help us out a lot. And then, like I said, all them links that are on our Facebook page. I know Joe had already went on there on the award one and put us in. So if everybody else can do it, that'd be great.
All right. I think that's
All right,
wraps it up for the night.
That's it. That's it for tonight. Okay. Well, this has been the Bearded Brothers podcast with me, your host Squirrel. The other hosts here are Steve, Robert, Brian C., and Logan. Have a good night, folks.